Hey guys, Rich Lopez, your host with Droptine Traditions Podcast. On with me tonight is Mr. Sean. Is it Bleakley or Blakely?
Blakely, long A.
Blakely, long A. Okay, thank you. Um, Last time we did a podcast, you and I think it was August of 2024, after the PBS banquet, which
Yeah.
where we first met. So, real quick, just tell people where you're from, your background.
Yeah, I'm from the Hudson Valley area in New York State. Been bow hunting for about 45 years. I've always had an interest in archery ever since I was a little kid. And it's funny too because at the PBS banquet in Lexington, MR James was there, and I had his first edition copy of his magazine of Bowhunter magazine, and I had him sign it for me. I told him this was the what really got me started, an old copy I found in probably the mid 70s. And then where it led into traditional archery was when I found the um, traditional bow hunter magazine on a newsstand. And, I got to become friends with DJ Conrad. And then he was there, obviously also. And I had the first premiere issue of TBM and had him sign it. So I had a pretty cool picture with both MR and TJ, and that's probably one of my favorite pictures because those two are pretty much those two magazines started this whole thing for me.
Yeah, same here. Now that you mentioned that, I never thought to bring my magazines to the banquet. And, so I'll be in Indianapolis. My wife actually last night was talking to me about what dress should I wear and all that. I was like, she's that excited. That's how much she
Yeah,
loves it. Even though she's not a bow hunter.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but she's excited for me, I guess, and
yeah,
excited for the whole involvement of everything. So TJ and MR, I hope to see you guys. And I know I will, and we'll get those things signed up.
yeah,
So yeah, last we spoke, or just we message each other quite often. Um, you mentioned you were moving.
yeah. We're wife and I were looking for a house, or actually, we found a house. We put an offer on it. I mean, I live.
Something happened to the sound. There you go.
It's how about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
All right. Yeah. No, my wife tried calling. And what was I saying? Oh yeah, we live in an area it's pretty high demand, so it's been rough the last probably 4 months looking at a house, keep getting outbid and everything else. Um, you know, my, my wife just shoot me a text message,
That's all good.
just and yeah, she's lost in the air at the hospital anyway, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, it's a pretty area. People want to, I'm like 3 counties north of New York City, so they're looking to um move out of the city, and so there's a lot of competition for houses.
Yeah, it's I noticed New York kind of a hot spot. I mean, I've traveled to New York. Well, I used to work in New York City, but I know the outlying counties, and I've hunted in upstate New York in many counties, and it's like there's like a major rush to get out of the city and into the
Yeah,
counties.
yeah, yeah,
Is there is housing expensive?
yeah. It's getting a little crazy. I mean, it's anything under 500,000 is a fixer upper.
Wow,
And
wow.
and then you get to throw the taxes in there. It's the area. It's just it's what it is. And plus you also get there, people are looking because it's the Hudson Valley. A lot of guys are buying stuff up for Airbnb. And
Yeah,
uh, hey, Rich, is, can I interrupt real quick with this? And I don't know if you can edit it out. I really need to call my wife back.
just do it.
Is that going to be an issue? All right,
Just do it.
all right. Let's see if I don't know if I can. I might lose you. That's the thing. That's what I'm afraid of.
That's fine. We can always jump back in with the link.
Okay. All right. Sorry about this.
That's no big deal, man.
All right.
So, guys, while we're here, um, we're just looking at some stuff. I've got, you can see, I got some stuff in the background there. Behind me are a bunch of sheds from this year's shed hunting up north. And as you can see, I got a bunch of bows, a shitload. Uh, I'm trying to get out of the collecting thing. It's kind of a hard thing. It's almost like a drug. Um, Very difficult, but I will get there. That's the goal. Um, Sean is a notorious Scrimshaw dude when it comes to powder horns. So when he comes back on, we're going to talk about this. And I like to collect them myself. I mean, look at this thing. Every woman's nightmare. Um, Another thing that I have, which is pretty cool, my dad, when he was in Korea, picked this up. This is all, again, it's now illegal. What the hell is that? Shit. Oh. This is scrimshawed and etched ivory. One end.
Hey, Rich, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
I don't see you yet though.
Huh.
I'm showing people some illegal ivory.
Oh boy.
Anyway,
I can see you.
okay.
Those ass.
There you
Oh, there
go.
you go.
There we
Okay.
go.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Is she okay?
Yeah, just the hospital. Just real quick, my nonverbal autistic stepson had a seizure last night, so he's been in the hospital the last night and tonight, and they're keeping him till tomorrow to figure out. He's 19 years old. He's never had a seizure before, so it was a pretty scary event. And so she's going. She was there all night last night. Came home, got some sleep. Now she's going to relieve, Aaron's father and her ex-husband and take over. So she just got a little lost in a parking lot.
Okay. That's hey man.
Yeah,
Continued prayers, really. I mean,
thank you.
I've never had that situation in my life. Um, God bless you for what you do.
Thanks.
Um,
Thanks.
are they looking at any kind of a chemical thing, like
They're
internal?
they're just doing they did a CAT scan, they did blood work, everything's fine with that. They're gonna look at they're doing an EEG on his and they're gonna keep him on a monitor for 24 hours
Hmm?
just to see. Like I said, he's 19 years old. I've been with him since he was 5. He's never had this happen before. So it's pretty scary. I'm a retired police officer, and I've probably witnessed hundreds of grand mal
Oh
seizures,
yeah.
but it's different when it's your kid and not a crackhead or something.
Right. Yeah, I
So
totally get it. Totally
yeah,
get it. So, speaking of law enforcement, are you still involved in law enforcement at all? Or are
nah,
you
just
fully retired?
yeah, fully retired. And well, fully retired from. I'm still working, but nothing in law enforcement. Yeah, I keep in touch with a lot of guys I work with. Try to get together, when we can, here and there. So it's unless it's hard to describe. It's almost like the traditional bow hunting community with the camaraderie. It's
Yeah.
that's the only thing I can find similar. You know.
You're exactly right because I mean I do fraud investigations for insurance,
Oh
so
yeah, yeah,
yeah, so I'm always talking to people that are in the business, and it's a brotherhood is what it is
yeah,
because these guys still keep, hey man, how you doing? Where are you now? Well, I'm in
yeah,
Florida now. Well, how's it down there versus up here in Baltimore?
yeah.
It's no different. Everybody's a freaking retard, uh, you know, but they
Yeah,
get caught. I mean, I don't care how smart you
yeah.
are, you get caught.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh no, I know, guys. And it's funny because a couple weeks ago, my dad's a retired police officer too. He's 93 years old,
Damn.
and I think we think he's the oldest living retiree of the City of White Plains Police Department. And they have the White Plains Retirees Association. They have a barbecue every at the end of every summer. Yeah, usually like in September sometime.
I saw the
And
pictures.
Yeah, yeah. So they made a big deal out of it, that his birthday was a couple days before, so they sang him happy birthday, gave him a birthday cake. Some of the there's still a couple of guys that he worked with that are still alive that trading the old war stories back and forth. It was kind of neat.
You know what I like about these Zoom meetings is I use it for work.
Oh
So
yeah,
every week I have a huddle, and every week there's new people on the huddle that are guest appearances or whatever.
yeah,
And one of them was a guy I worked with for almost 20 years. I hadn't seen him in four since I moved here
yeah,
to Florida. And man, it was so good to see him. And of course, we commanded the whole Zoom meeting with jokes and cutting up and
yeah, yeah,
crapping on each other. It was fantastic.
yeah,
But that's great stuff. I mean, God bless your dad.
yeah, yeah. And it's funny because he's 93 and he's just getting over COVID. He had a little
Ah,
sore throat with COVID, and that was it. He's
well,
I don't know.
hey,
He's a bull.
was your dad a hunter or an outdoorsman?
Yeah, my father. He wasn't. He's killed a couple of deer, but he wasn't a big deer hunter. He's a big small game hunter. He did a lot of pheasant hunting. Rabbits were his snowshoe rabbit. Snowshoe hare up in the Adirondacks were probably one of his favorite things to do. And fishing. He wasn't a guy that could sit still for very long, in a deer stand. So small game was a lot more active. So, and that's one of the things that we grew up doing a lot of rabbit hunting. And, I mean, heck, probably one of my favorite memories, and he did it not too long ago. We come in from hunting, and he'd cook breakfast, bacon and
Oh
eggs
yeah.
cooked in bacon fat, and he'd make home fried, basically his home fried potatoes, where he'd cut the potato up, fry it up in the bacon grease with some onions and
Mm,
paprika, and that was pretty much it. That was breakfast with a
that's
ton of
awesome.
pepper, ton
Oh,
of
I,
pepper.
I miss hunting camp for that very reason. I had
Yeah,
a hunting camp in Maryland where we would go, and this guy would just make spam. I was like, ugh, gross, spam. Ugh. But no, he would fry it up and do the eggs, the whole thing, and then put it on a big uh, sesame bun.
yeah,
Oh my God, it was to die for. So now
yeah,
my son, Todd, and we do the same thing at home, just for the memory of it. Um, but burnt, you got to burn the spam, got to burn
yeah,
it.
yeah. A little crispy.
Yep, absolutely. So what's new on the bow hunting front? You been out yet?
I was only able to get out once between again my dad and the house hunting because the houses they're only lasting 2 weeks around here, and so you got to get on it. So it was just hard for me to get out. Weekends we're going to open houses, and so I really haven't been able to get out. I have this is the first time in a while since I retired. I have 3 weeks, banked, 3 vacation weeks banked for hunting, and I got in on a lease in Ohio, so I'm gonna,
Oh wow.
spend a couple of weeks doing, hunting out there. It's a 9 hour drive, but it'll be worth it. I haven't quite been out there yet, so but I got in it with Brian Burkhardt and Jeff Holchen, so I'll meet one of them out there. They'll show me the property, and it should be pretty good.
I hear EHD has really hit Ohio hard.
Yeah, that's Eric McKee he was sending me updates, Great Northern Quivers, and everybody knows Eric, and so he was sending me updates, but um, Jeff Olchen went and he walked the property. He didn't find anything. He didn't find any carcasses, and Brian, I think he's still out there now. He was sending updates. He didn't find anything, and he actually was seeing quite a bit of deer. So
Good,
and
good.
so and we got hit in 2020. We got hit up here, but it was in pockets.
Right.
Um, you go 15 miles to the northeast, and it's fine. But you go a little bit over, and then you're finding dead bucks all over the place.
Yeah, so like you probably know this because we've been talking. I'm heading to New York State, leaving Saturday, and I'll be up there for about 8 days.
Mm.
And the reports are the bucks are all over the place, and there's no EHD.
Yeah.
So
We, like I said, 2020 was our big, and it's that, that was 5 years ago. That gave it a bit of time to recover, somewhat anyway. Where you going in, whereabouts in
I'm
New York?
I'm going to be in Painted Post, which
Painted
is a
Post.
little about 6 miles north of Corning.
Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah. It's funny. The thing about New York State, and what a lot of people don't realize, it's such a mix. The location of it. I did in the PBS magazine. I did a kind of a profile of New York State. Once you get out like west of Syracuse, you're pretty much in mid. You're starting to get it's flat. Your bucks are getting bigger.
Mhm.
Plus, you get the southern tier in there where you get some of Pennsylvania's bucks coming in because they have you start getting into their antler restrictions. And part of it is forced standing, and the other is you just have to another one I believe is three, and so you get a lot of that bleed over. So that part of New York is has always been pretty good. My older stepson, my son, he hunts out there at the Finger Lakes, and all the guys that they're with, they kill. They pretty much shoot everything, but there's always one or two in there that'll scare you.
Yeah. I mean, I saw one buck a couple of years ago that was just a monster, 200 plus inch,
Yeah,
non-typical. I was like, holy crap. And from 200 yards away, I couldn't believe the size of this creature.
yeah,
Just dogging this doe. I was like, man, holy crap. But this thing wouldn't stop moving. There's no way in hell I was getting near it, and it was nowhere getting near me. Uh, but now, last year I hunted and I had does all over me. And then I had my one buck come in and it was a chip shot, 12 yards. And I did not pick my spot and shot the sapling in
yeah,
front of me. So
yeah.
I have to redeem myself this year. Uh, and it was crazy. 64-year-old man climbing a sapling to get a broadhead out of a tree.
Yeah.
But you know how it goes.
Well, was it a bear razor head?
No, I don't use those. I
Oh,
did my early years. I use Zwickeys now. They're
okay.
170 grain
Yeah.
Zwicky. No, this one was actually it was the Joker in the deck. It was a journeyman of all
Okay.
things. Yeah,
Yep.
which is a good broadhead, but it's not big by any standards. I use Zwicky's 170
Yeah.
deltas now. I mean,
Yep.
they'll blow you open.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, So you've been out just a little bit of time. I haven't been out yet. I just can't wait. My wife knows I'm going crazy. She goes, "Why are you packing now? This was today. I don't leave till Saturday."
Yeah.
So I'm already, it's one of those things. When you live in Florida and you're going back home to hunt, you're like, wow,
Yeah.
it's going to be
It's
amazing.
yeah. I always if I pack for if I'm going to be away for any length of time, I make sure I put everything out. Make sure I got everything, and especially if like if it's Alaska or just somewhere where it's like really far, and kind of remote. Um, you know, local stuff like I do a lot of hunting in the Catskills where my dad's house is, so I keep a lot of stuff up there, and
Mhm.
so I don't have to bring quite as much. But yeah, it's always exciting, just packing, getting everything ready. That's kind of part of it,
That's the
the
fun part.
preparation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you been to Joel Riato's place?
it's funny because we keep because he's not far from where my dad is. There,
Right.
it's the same town, but it's a big town. We've met up at the camp spot. They should be just finishing up the Catskill hunt. And Joel, I apologize. I told him I'd give him a hand with this, but just with everything that's been going on, it's just I wanted to get up there and do it, but like I said, between my father and I thought I'd be in
Sure.
a house by now. But he runs a really really good hunt up there, and it's hopefully at some point I'll be able to take it over when I get my crap together. It's just especially the early season. It's just always been crazy with me lately, the last
Mhm.
probably 10 years. But he killed a good pretty decent 8 point for up there. They have antler restrictions up there now, and we're in about 15 years of them. And there's, especially on private property, you're getting some pretty good deer. I had Bill Langer with me a couple of years ago, and I mean, it was a fun hunt, but we got the landowner kind of messed us up a little bit without realizing it. Long story, he's deaf and he's not a bow hunter. And I texted him, let him know that we were there. He's got his four-wheeler going up and down the fields and everything, and he says, "Oh, okay, good luck." And he continues doing what he's doing. So, but we found went on a piece of public land, and Bill set one up, and it, he his limb hit his camera mouth. I know in my heart that would have been a dead deer if he didn't hit his camera with the limb. But it was still a fun hunt nonetheless. But it's gotten pretty good up there over the years.
Yeah, Bill's a cool dude. We stay in touch.
Yeah.
Hopefully he comes down to Florida, so hopefully we'll get together for dinner
Oh
at some
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears here. You've been active quite lately on the PBS front. What projects are you heading up?
Well, I'd be right now we're trying. I'm getting together. I've got all the components. Just have to get everything all finalized. But we're kind of pushing the women's in the outdoors. Uh, Ginger Brockman and her husband Dan they ran a little introducing the women to the outdoors hunt just this past week,
Mhm.
and a member by the name of Wendy Murphy killed a doe while Dan and Ginger had to go to sadly had to go to a funeral. And I believe it was her first deer. It was Wendy's first deer. She shot it, tracked it, quartered it, and packed it out. All, I was pretty impressed. And, so we're kind of trying to push, kind of getting, women a little more involved. So I'm doing a membership drive, for women. And I have a package where, see, I have it written down here. Jonathan Cards from Three Rivers is donating one of his Oberon takedown bows. Um, we have a Great Northern quiver, and I told Eric I would pay for it. He's insisting that he donates, so we're probably going to be arm wrestling for it at some point. I have a custom knife and quiver by Rob Gabbard, another PBS member, really really talented knife maker. Um, Rick Stillman made a dozen arrows, which his arrows actually have been they've been a pretty hot ticket during the auctions. I won't say the member's name, but I proxy bid at Reno on a set of arrows, and it went up to $400, and
Wow.
ended up winning them. And then it was another, I think it was like another 150 to ship them from Reno to his house.
Oh my
So,
God.
but it was pretty good. And then I'm throwing together a backpack with some stuff that I pretty much like, a folding saw, bow hooks.
Right.
I'm gonna throw in a couple packs of broadheads, some camo makeup, a PBS camo beanie, just kind of a little fun package that you would take in the woods with you.
So another a suggestion from my side of things, might want to reach out to Nancelia Woods because she's got her ear to the ground as far as the female bow hunting thing.
Yeah.
She
Oh,
she she would have a great influence.
yeah, yeah. I already do that. We've actually chatted back and forth a little bit, messaging,
Okay.
here and there, but not about this. But that's actually a good idea.
So let's talk about the bear hunting sweepstakes that's going on right now. Tell us about that.
All right, yeah, we call it. They're calling it the KTE, Canadian Bear Hunt, Knowledge Through Experience. It's up in Saskatchewan, Canada, and it's kind of a neat thing. There's several PBS members. I believe there's a couple of Bubba Graves for sure is one of them. Um, I I think Ethan's going to be there. And a couple other PBS members, and you got a chance to get in on this hunt and every member, council is excluded, but every member gets one free ticket.
Mhm.
So you go on, you sign in, You get your free ticket, and then you can, I guess, by donation. I'm still not quite exactly sure because I looked at the flyer because the flyer is going to come out in the latest magazine, and I believe there's an application that's going to be accompanying the flyer in the magazine. But with it, Blacktail Bow they donated a bow. Again, another Great Northern Quiver. Tom Phillips, he's donating a Bison Gear pack. Um, uh, Big River Knives is or Big River Blades custom knife. Brian Holstead, he's making he made a really nice knife. Tom Weaver, who's a he, I have a dozen arrows made by Tom. He made the plaques he also made the plaques for the PBS banquet.
I remember, yeah.
And they were just he did a great job with them. So he's going to make up a dozen arrows, and you also get a $1,400 gift card to help with travel expenses and license fees.
Oh wow, yeah.
And the winner is going to be drawn on January 6th. Give you enough time because the day, I think it's May 11th through the 16th, if I'm not mistaken.
Now the bear hunt, who's the outfitter?
The outfitter, oh man,
not Stick Flingers, is it?
No, it's not Stick Flingers. This isn't Saskatchewan. It's the place where I should have wrote that down. It's in my phone, but obviously, I'm doing that on the. It's the place where Gene Wenzel and Brian Kelzer had been going.
Okay. Yeah. Oh no, they had killer time there. Literally. So that's cool. So guys, look for that on social media. It's on Facebook, on the Professional Bowhunter Society web page. Correct?
Yep. Yeah, I posted it the other day. I posted the other day on it, and I like I said, I wrote some notes down. I should have wrote the name of the outfitter down. I thought
it's all good, brother.
Yeah.
People will get it. They'll get it.
Yep.
Are you doing anything with Comptons?
Just pretty much just support. Just with the time. I mean, I'm more of a support lately with Comptons. I was, it was kind of, I was asked a little bit to run for board, but I was running for vice president of PBS at the time, so I really didn't. It just would have been too much for me, so I had to back out with that. And then just with everything else going on, so it would have been a little tough to be like really, but just my support, wearing a hat, buying things.
Sure.
Terry Receiver took over from Brian Burkhart as president, and both great guys. And yeah, I think Terry, because Terry did a lot with the PBS. A lot of where we are now is because of Terry. He had a lot of great changes there, and he's gonna take what Brian did an amazing job with Comptons. I think Terry's gonna just take it and build on that.
Yeah, And I interviewed Terry last week, so that will air in 2 weeks. Because I'm gonna be away hunting, guys. So spoiler alert: I will not be dropping any episodes next week because I will be in a tree. But you will see me on social media posting all sorts of nonsense. And I'm all about nonsense. So
we're getting toward Halloween, so I expect to see Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yes, oh my God, every night. I love it. I love it. That's my favorite time of year.
Yeah.
That being said, I've got a repeat question because this is from our first meeting in 2024. I'm getting a lot of scuttlebutt from people asking me questions. Associate and regular membership. Can you tell our listeners how and why there are two levels?
All right. The main reason why there's two levels is when the PBS was formed in 1963. Field archery was huge. Oh, yeah. Okay, was huge. It was huge through the 50s and huge, up into the 60s. And if you look at any of those old archery magazines from that time period, you'll see why. And a group of hunters, they kind of wanted to get away from the target archery and have more about bow hunting and stuff like that. So the reason for the two-tiered membership is so you have your associate member, it basically is entitled to everything that the regular member is entitled to, except voting and being able to serve on council. That's
Okay.
the only thing. And the reason why is it's kind of, they want to make sure you're pretty much a hardcore bow hunter. Bow hunting is your primary interest, your primary weapon, and so that way, we stay to the traditional values of
Sure.
bow hunting. I mean, listen, if you're you're a two-season hunter, you're a gun hunter and stuff like that, it totally understandable. And it doesn't necessarily um leave you out of the being a regular. You can still be a regular membership like that, but we just want to make sure that you really um that's why they had the weight limit, which was because that's kind of outdated. But they had the weight limit on the bow for it was 50 pounds or over, because the target archers were
Yeah.
shooting much lighter. So that was like that was kind of like the dividing thing. But now that's such a kind of outdated practice, I
Right. I
guess.
could kill a deer with 38 pounds all day
Yeah,
long.
yeah, yeah. We kind of took that out, but yeah, they're the main reasons, and that's why we have it. Again, just because we want to make sure that the people that are voting and sitting on council have bow hunting as the main interest of the PBS.
That's awesome. So, how does one become a regular member? I've tried 3 times. I'm done.
It's it's not they kind of, and again, don't quote me, but I do believe this was one of Terry Receiver's things, was they kind of streamlined the process a little bit. But you have to be a member in good standing for, member for 2 years and, consecutive 2 years in good standing.
Yeah, I did rob a liquor store. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
Well, I didn't know if there was a character clause in that or not, but they, but you have to have, taken eight big game animals with a bow.
yep.
And we do require photo documentation. You wouldn't believe how many people actually do. I mean, and I really don't. I really don't have a lot of pictures of my animals.
I mean,
Um,
think about it, Sean. Back in the '80s, I wasn't walking around carrying a
yeah,
camera. I
yeah.
just shooting
It's
shit.
not. And
Yeah.
I've only had a smartphone maybe the last 10 years, because of the change in when I retired and with the special needs, stepson and everything else. As much as it kills me, I don't have the time to spend in the woods as I used to. So I don't fill my tags like I used to. So but even then it was film cameras, and then even some of the I did a post on the PBS website about just kind of how to take a picture, and for all the bad pictures I used mine. I used a lot of mine because I have some that I had one from the 80s. It's blurry. Other one with all casting shadows and stuff like
Tongue
that.
hanging out, all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So it's so trying to show the comparison. And a lot of the pictures that I did have with the old film cameras, they really didn't come out that well.
Mhm.
You know, so
Yeah, I
that's
mean, back then I didn't. I mean, that was back in film days. I mean, I was
yeah,
like, I'm not taking pictures. It's like whatever. If I got a picture, it was because my mom took it.
yeah.
It was a picture.
Somebody had a camera that was around, and
Right.
the film pictures that I did have kind of got ruined in a damp basement. So I have very few of the ones I do have. So
Oh yeah.
unfortunately,
So remember back in the '80s, the PBS was hot and heavy against the anti-crossbow thing. Are they still that way? Because things are really going towards crossbows now.
yeah, it's we're still, but it's I it's been a tough fight, and we've gotten pummeled. We've had committees, in the '80s, the anti-crossbow committee. You know, it's we've actually lately, the PBS has been throwing money toward, keeping public lands open. That's the last couple of things
That's
that they've
good.
been doing. But as far as it's just a tough fight, because I mean I am an NRA member, but they're backed by the NRA, so that's almost like a conflict there a little bit. But I don't know. It's hard to, yeah. We're still, as the PBS. It's against our code of ethics. And I don't think it's ever going to change. Uh, but it's almost like it's a feudal fight because again, the NRA's throwing a lot of money toward him.
Yep.
It's
You can't stop the future.
yeah, and it's it is what it. I mean, New
I
York.
mean, I'm gonna admit something here. I mean, I've had shoulder injuries, I've had surgeries and whatnot. I own a compound and I own a crossbow,
Mhm. Yeah,
but I am now healthy and went back to traditional equipment.
yeah,
So there
yeah.
you go.
That's and there
I don't
are
care
like
what anybody says. I don't give a shit.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, that's just when it comes to like regular membership and stuff like that. That's where it'll you kind of get through. Um, and listen for injuries, I do have a bit of a in my a little bit of leniency, and it's up to the individual when it comes to injuries and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You
Injuries
know,
are injuries. They happen.
yeah.
I mean, at 65, I'm injured 24/7.
Oh yeah. I,
So
I get up in the morning. I get up in the morning. I mean, I'm only 57, but I get up in the morning. I sound like a fat kid dancing on bubble wrap. So
so let's change it here. Let's go back to bow hunting. How did Africa go?
it was a fun trip. I let things get in my head, and I let the price tag again. I was saving for a house. This kind of came by a high school friend of mine invited me. This kid kid, man I grew up with. And John
We're all
Kobrowski.
still kids, brother.
Yeah, no, I still say that. Yeah, he invited me, and he's big into SCI,
Yeah.
so he won his hunt through SCI, and he invited me. I was the only bow hunter out of four guys, which was great, but it was kind of a crazy experience. I was on a budget, and it's kind of embarrassing when you say you're on a budget in a way, because it's like you don't want to.
Dude, I work paycheck to paycheck, so
Yeah,
I
no,
know
I
what
know.
that's like. So like my wife goes, "Hey, you going to Mexico again?" I'm like, "Yeah, where are you getting the money?" Dude, I'm selling bows, I'm selling
Yeah,
books. You wouldn't believe what I'm doing.
and so I think the price tag kind of got in my head a little bit. Now I did have pretty much one free animal like a gemsbuck or something, and I had a gemsbuck come in, and in my head, and I end up making a bet, a less than perfect hit, and kind of ran in. We had to stop tracking because there were it ran into a bunch of Cape buffalo, so we kind of backed
Yeah.
out on that, and it was just one of those thing. And then after that, it was just nothing. Anything in my that I did have in my price range stayed out. All the real expense. I mean, I had, I had Sable come in. I could have pet him. I
Ooh,
Roan's antelope. I reached out and Cape Buffalo, which I think that was one of the most expensive things he had on.
it's always expensive.
Yeah, I could have pet them too, but all the war. I The only war hogs that come in were sow with piglets. That was pretty much it. Nothing. I
So
did see a pretty good one, but
I've never been to Africa. I've always wanted to go. I had an opportunity at one point back in the 80s to go with the Wenzels, but South Africa was a mess in the 80s.
oh yeah, yep,
And those hunts got canceled because of the wars.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, if you're going to hunt Cape Buffalo, what poundage would you suggest?
Well,
75?
yeah, and better. I mean, I think Denny Sturgis Jr.
Well,
I think he was shooting.
the guy's a freaking
Yeah,
universal bodybuilder.
I think he was shooting 85 pounds. Monty Browning, he's always up there.
And he's old dude, man. He's still pulling shit. He's still pulling crazy poundage.
Yeah, he's
He's amazing.
he is. He's one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
Just all time. Him and Annie, they're just two of my favorite.
I
Um,
love him. Love them
yeah,
both.
yeah, he is definitely a treasure. That guy. But yeah, like I said, he shoots heavy arrows and heavy poundage. So because also too, I believe that I don't know much on him, but I do believe that the rib cage kind of overlaps a little bit. So
Okay.
you got to get through some stuff.
Yeah, so it's almost like you're saying the rib cage has like that.
Yeah,
And get slipping an arrow through there is not an easy task.
Yeah, yeah,
They're built they're built for toughness, but
yeah.
it's amazing. They
My
are the they are. I don't know if
yeah, my
anybody's.
my my buddy John, that I went to Africa with. I mean, he took one with his rifle, and I I forget what he was shooting. I mean, he was shooting something pretty substantial. I mean, it still took 5 shots.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you guys eat it?
Oh yeah,
How
yeah.
was it?
It was excellent. It was. I didn't have one bad meal. And it was. I think yeah. We had the Cape Buffalo.
Oh
We
man.
had let's see. Wow, we had the Cape Buffalo. Oh, we had Springbuck. That was a weird. Had Springbuck, and yeah, it was all good. Everything was excellent.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, it's on a bucket list. I know I won't get there. Uh, whatever. I've been hunting for 55 years now.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Well, we had last year. We had three Africans donated, or not last year. But yeah, 2024 to Lexington. We had three African hunts donated, and I think they all went at a pretty reasonable price. And one of
Yeah.
them, I believe, had up to 8 or 10 people could go with a
Yeah,
with a thousand dollar
one of
each.
my hunting partners, Patrick Patterson, won one, and he had a good time. He had a great
Oh,
time.
okay, yeah, good.
And he's actually my Mexico guy. Uh,
Uh,
so the Traditional Bowhunters Hall of Fame, again, switching gears. That's what
yeah,
I
yeah,
do. Man, they're doing a great thing. I think it's
yeah,
the best thing since sliced bread.
yeah. I agree. I agree. It's funny because I went to the Bow Hunters Hall of Fame induction in 2024. I went, and Neil Bice and Brian Burr like kind of let me tag along with them. I felt like that little brother that just was like just in awe, and it was and
Yeah.
so we had a good time there, and so that was neat. And
Neil
but
has to go next. He has got to
yeah,
be inducted. Yeah. That
yeah.
dude's been involved with bear archery since the 70s, for Christ's
Oh
sake.
yeah, definitely. I mean, well, Ken Beck, he actually had just gotten in. Ken Beck, kind of lifted Black Widow bows, up into
Oh,
greatness.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ken's a matter of fact. I didn't get a chance. I did mention to you that I would reach out to him. But again, I don't know him that well, but we have spoken. I have his information, and but just a great guy to talk to. And
Yeah.
but
Send
with
it
the
to me
tradi-
if you
with
can.
the oh definitely, but with the traditional Bowhunters Hall of Fame, yeah, they that to me it's pretty. I'm pretty excited about it.
It's
You
long
know,
overdue. It's
yeah,
long overdue
yeah,
because we as traditional bow hunters, yeah, okay, I hunted with a compound and a crossbow for a short period of time. Primarily, I hunt with a traditional bow 24/7. Probably, I've been bow hunting for 55 years. Okay.
mm,
Of the 55 years, I've probably been bow hunting with traditional equipment 51 years.
yeah,
So that's a testimony as to what I want to do.
mhm,
Um, but I'm telling you, I like it's not segregation for people that are listening. It's just recognizing people that choose to use traditional equipment to
yeah,
harvest game animals. And it doesn't have to be a Popinia, it doesn't have to be a Boone and Crockett. It's just because you're a badass.
yeah, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it definitely does. And the board, you know, I I'm friends with each member of the board, and
Mhm.
to me, they are some of the most ethical, modest guys that are, and I consider it. It's Russell Lantier, Tom Weaver that
Right.
you were just speaking about.
And
Matt
I
Schuster.
don't know Russell. I got to get to know him.
Oh my God, Russell's a. Let me tell you, you want to talk about. I mean, I could say this about 1,000 guys in the PBS, but he's a. I mean, he is a gentleman, He is, Louisiana. He's got that just that kind of laid back, just a happy guy. You just can't help but
Yeah.
feel, kind of good around
I'll
him.
be reaching out to him.
And my good buddy Bill Terry got in this year, and he's
Bill's
Bill.
fantastic.
Bill's one of those guys that kind of flies under the radar.
He does.
Yeah, he's
Former Marine,
yeah, and
incredible dude. He's just a man's man.
yeah. If he doesn't, I don't think he lets 2 weeks go by without giving me a call, make sure I'm okay, or make sure
Okay.
something, just to BS a little bit. I think where he is, I know we hunted. I think the first time I hunted with him was 2012 up at Bear Quest with Tom Phillips.
Yeah.
And at that time, in 2012, I think he was around between 350 and 400 animals, big game animals. And again, that was, what, 12, 13 years ago.
Was
A lot since.
Bodoc there on that hunt?
Oh, yeah, Bodoc was there. Yep. My bud, God
He was
bless
an
Bodoc.
interesting dude, man.
He was my little buddy. He was at, he and I, we just hit it off, and we
Oh, yeah.
just, it was just a load of laughs. We were up. And again, that little squirrely guy, he goes, "Oh yeah, 180 pounds of blue twisted steel." And in 2016, we were up there with Fred Eichler, and he kept calling him Colorado Cowboy.
Yeah.
And he goes, "You better go out there and practice falling down, because I'm gonna, Bodoc,
Oh yeah.
you know." So yeah, he's just, he's definitely
I knew
missed.
I've known Bodoc since I was 18 years old, and I'm 65.
Yeah.
So we because of Larry St. Laurent and Joe St. Charles,
Mhm.
they introduced me to Bodoc and Al Reeder, the
Yeah.
collector. Of course, I was a collector, and as you can see behind me,
Yeah.
um, we would call each other. I would work at these printing companies. I had midnight shifts. So when I called Seattle or Washington State, yeah, I'm calling them at midnight. It's only 8 o'clock at night there. And we would talk for hours
Yeah. Yeah.
about bows and collecting and finishes. And oh my God, these were priceless conversations, which I wish I had recorded.
Yeah.
But obviously, there was none of that back then. I just found a cassette tape today of Barry Wetzel and I.
Oh,
Because remember back in the day,
yeah.
Barry, they talked about they would send a cassette tape with questions and he would answer it and send it back.
Yeah,
Well, I'm going to,
long distance calls were expensive then.
yeah, I was going to, well, my mom was pissed because I was like $300 phone bills. Uh, I'm going to publish that next week.
Yeah,
So
that's
that'll be interesting as hell.
yeah,
But at any rate,
yeah.
let's move forward. Uh, I see you're looking to move. So where are you looking and when?
Well, hopefully before Christmas. I mean, all depends on when we get everything with the clothes. We just had the inspection today, but it's a town called Pleasant Valley. It's in Dutchess County, New York, which is it's again, it's part of the Hudson Valley. Um, and it's funny because we looked at a house that it was kind of a similar house. It was on 3 acres, and it was in Clinton Corners, which is where Gene and Barry had their property when they were kids in
Okay.
the late 40s, early 50s. And
Yeah.
so it's funny because I told Gene and Barry that that's what but we ended up getting outbid on that house. Which that would have been, and that's a really nice area too. It's a little farther, a little bit south, maybe another 20 minutes southeast of or southwest of where Clinton Corners is, where Gene and Barry had their camp. But yeah, the name of the town's Pleasant Valley, and so we're looking forward to it.
Good. So you're not involved in law enforcement anymore, are you?
Nope, nope, totally
Okay.
out. Yeah,
Now,
totally out.
what are you doing now?
I work for Metro North Railroad, which is um, it's a commuter railroad. It's the second largest actually in the country, next to Long Island Railroad, and it basically takes everybody from the northern counties into New York City. So I cover most of the territory with that, and it's a complete 180 degrees from law enforcement, but it's a lot less, a lot less stress.
I would imagine.
Yeah, not a, pays the bills, and I know a lot of the guys that I work with before I started there, so we have background, we have history.
Yeah, I still work full time only because they keep giving me money. So
Yeah, yeah. That's
keep
funny how that
yeah.
works.
Yeah, keep giving me money.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna change gears again. Powder
There you go.
horns. Powder horns, people.
There you go.
This one is not scrimshawed. However, I found out this year that our friend here, Sean, likes the scrimshaw.
Yeah, well, I also I was pretty heavily involved in black powder, living history, historical trekking, and things like that. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you can see. I make them from kind of start to finish. Um, this is one I got out of it for a little while, for probably about 10 years. Again, life was just kind of getting in the way, and just didn't have a lot of time, didn't really have a place to work on them. But then a friend, matter of fact, it was a friend from the police academy. Um, he was getting ready. He got involved in living history. He retired, and he's working on getting a master's degree in history and everything else. And so for what they do for well, it wasn't Battle Road that he was doing, which is Lexington and Concord, but they were doing that in another place in New York. So he was playing a militiaman, so he wanted a powder horn. So I had one that was almost carved up, and I had been promising one for years, a couple of years here and there, and then I just kind of kept forgetting about it, putting it off, and but he kind of gave me a little kick in the butt, and I started, and I was like, this was kind of fun, and sent it to him. So I started, and Tom Phillips, it's got to be 5 years. Tom wanted me to make him one, and he actually gave me a horn to work on, and I started it and just kind of put it down, and I didn't pick it up again. So I kind of surprised him. 5 years later, I finished it and I sent it to him. And again, then I got back in. I needed one because I gave all mine away, or whatnot. So I just kind of, I don't know if you can see it here, but that's one, Liberty or Death. And I have
Yeah.
my sixth great grandfather's name on it, who was in the Orange County Militia in New York during the Revolution. So I have a ancestry that goes back, and this is kind of one that I'm working on, just kind of carving. It didn't put the base plug in yet. I just did an event in Dutchess County at the Brinkerhoff House, and where I was doing being a hornsmith and doing horn demos. So I just kind of carved this up there, so just got to get a chance and finish it up, and I'll do something with it.
Man, it's beautiful stuff. I mean, how did you get into that? I mean, you're a bit of a historian.
Yeah, I say amateur historian. Again, growing up in the Hudson Valley, probably, maybe a little less than a third of the American Revolution happened right here in my own backyard. And it just kind of, I don't know. I always had an interest in the American Revolution, probably because of where I lived, and we have a lot of houses and historic sites. Um, we have there is it was Fort Independence, which was in Peekskill, which is only a mile from where I live right now. I live at the foothills of the Highlands, the beginning of the Highlands, the Hudson Highlands,
Mm.
which is where they wanted to fortify during the American Revolution, because essentially the Hudson River, the command of the Hudson River, if the British got hold of it, they could divide and conquer. They could split the colonies in half. So that's why it was such a fought over piece of real estate. And I also do interpretations at Fort Montgomery, which is, again, it's just south of West Point. And it was a fort that was taken over by the British, but there was a battle there with the Fifth New York, the Ulster County Militia, Orange County Militia,
Mhm.
and Loyalists. And but I get to play there every once in a while. I'll do demonstrations for them. They take care of me, and I kind of take care of them a little bit. Just do what I can, just kind of help them out. It's a little state-run site, and has a visitor center. And back in 2008, I was part of a project where we filmed a little movie for the visitor center. So that was fun. Kind
Yeah.
of.
So where I'm hunting next week up in Painted Post, um, my host, Mike. owns the land there. My hunting partner's nephew, and he's into all of that
Yeah.
um, reenactment, all that. Makes his own black powder, flint locks.
Yeah.
He
Yep. Yep.
manufactures everything
Yeah.
from the ground up. Uh, Maniac when it comes to it. It's just like amazing what he does. It's just, it's like I look at it in amazement. I'm like, oh my god, how do you do this? And it is what it is. It's just you do it.
It's it's one of the things that I told a lot of guys when I was reenacting and doing, and I usually don't like to use the term reenacting. I like saying living historian because
Sure.
like reenacting, a lot of guys, it's just kind of like doing the battles. I kind of got away from doing that. I wanted to do more demonstration, show what life
Right.
was like in the 18th century, what the life of a Revolutionary War soldier may have been like. Or I've also learned a little bit, enough about 18th century carpentry, and I collected a bunch of tools, original tools that I can BS my way through it a little
Right.
bit, just kind of give them an idea. And that's what I used to tell some of the guys. I was like, learn some sort of a trade or some sort of craft
Right.
that you can do a demonstration for it. And then part of it is to making your own stuff is actually kind of part of the fun of it,
It is. I mean,
And
I
that's how I got into
manufacture.
making the powder horns.
Right. As a bow refinisher repair, I manufacture a lot of shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh, it's like there's not a lot of us out there.
No.
There's a
No.
handful. There's a lot of us that don't understand it, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
And
is what
it's
it.
in that in itself is it's because you're bringing life back into some of these, like I mean, I don't know if you can see, but um I have a super Kodiak here behind me that I mean, it probably doesn't need refinishing. I know I had a '59 Kodiak that I sent you pictures of, and you were basically like, "Yeah, that boat can't be." It's just by the pictures, and then it's funny because at the Hall of Fame, I talked to Neil Bice, and he said, "Yeah, just show it to me. I'll take a look at it." And I brought it to Kalamazoo, and I showed it to him in Kalamazoo, and I just could see where it was split. He was looking at other. He goes, "Oh yeah," he goes, "This boat was about ready to blow," and he was showing me all these little fine details that I just didn't even. You
Mhm.
probably would have seen it. He definitely, obviously, because he showed it to me, and I was like, "Wow," I was pretty amazed.
Well, I'm not going to say never, never. Uh, I mean, the guy sent me a bighorn that was a 120-pound pull,
Wow.
had a split in a shelf. I fixed it. He killed the big five in Africa with it, and
Wow.
then retired the bow. So yeah,
Yeah.
we can talk about it.
Yeah. But it's kind of it's just like neat because again, I wouldn't go as far as to call myself a collector, but I have a Wilson brother, 67 Wilson brother Black Widow.
Yeah.
I've got a 56 Kodiak. I had the 59 I still have it. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
make a display with it. I got a couple old Grizzlies. Yeah, just they're and again, just like with everything else, there's a history to them, and it's
Exactly.
who held this bow? What did they do with this? Were they was it what was the guy just was he just a casual bow hunter,
Yep.
just to do something until gun season started, or was he hardcore? Was he a hardcore bow hunter that's all he
Right.
wanted to do? It's just it's got stories to tell.
Yeah. I've got bows that I own that have been, owned by Al Reeder, hunted with by Al Reeder. I've got bows. I had bows in the past that were hunted with Glenn St. Charles. And,
Mm,
I don't collect anymore. I'm just out of the
yeah,
game.
yeah,
But I have stuff now that, as you can see behind me, they all have stories.
yeah.
Um, Yeah, and I'm gonna start dropping shorts, this old bow, little
Oh yeah,
history.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just don't have time right now. It's just busy time of my year for me, for my
yeah.
work.
No,
Um,
I hear you.
so you're a Northern Tribes history buff. Now we're gonna go back to bows. Are
Mhm.
you still rocking the Black Widow?
Yeah, that's pretty much my main, go-to bow. Roger and Toby, they've been good to me over the years. I've gotten to be friends with them, doing their bear hunt and stuff like that. I've got um, what are, I have three, well, one Ken Beck bow, two, Roger Toby and John bows, and I have one Wilson brother, Black Widow. But I have like I said, a couple of bears, and I have a bow that Dick Robertson. I had Dick make me back in like 2018, and well, again, it's another bow I like, but Black Widow is they're generally my go-to bow.
They're amazing. I mean, I've had a few. I've never really bought. I bought one custom that was tulip wood, and all my buddies ribbed me about it because it looked like vomit because of the wood.
Yeah, yeah.
So I said, have it back.
Hmm.
But I mean, Black Widows, I've collected a lot of H101s,
Yeah, yep,
which is my favorite
yeah,
hunting bow. Great bow.
yep. Which is that's the Wilson brother one that I have. That I actually Joe St. Charles had it on that auction site on
Okay.
Facebook,
Yeah.
and I and which is funny, Joe had sent me a picture of him and outfitter and bow dock with a lion. you
That's
know
amazing. Yeah, that's a great piece of history.
yeah.
Now, are you a two-season hunter? Do you still gun hunt?
Nah, not if I do, which is kind of rare. Again, I like old stuff. I'll take an old I have an old Winchester Model 94 that was built in 1913.
Mm,
I might go, like if I don't, 'cause my son, he doesn't really have time to. He wants to bow hunt, but he's kid's a workaholic.
yeah.
So he doesn't really have time to, and he knows, and to me that's as much ethics as there is. He knows it, and he's a pretty decent shot, but
Mhm.
he doesn't practice up where he's comfortable. So if we go out, we'll kind of gun hunt and together, and I'll take that, but I haven't, and I can't remember the last time. I mean, it's been well over 10 years, and
Oh
I could
wow.
probably count all the deer I've killed with a gun on one hand.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm leaving for New York next week to bow hunt for 8 days, and then I'm coming back in December for black powder. And
Yeah,
I love black powder hunting. I
yeah,
just
yeah,
love it because I just love that little hesitate, bam, and just
yeah,
wait for something to happen. Uh, but it's just
yeah,
all good. I'm a two-season hunter. I just love it.
yeah.
I've been doing this.
That's
I've been
and
hunting that way since I was 16.
yeah. Well, that's like listen, and it's funny because Pennsylvania, probably 95% of the bow hunters from Pennsylvania are two-season hunters because it's that's almost like a religion, gun hunting, hunting in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. And again, not anything wrong with it. It's just, I think with me too, one of the things that because I grew up hunting in an archery only county, so I can hunt, 5 minutes from my house. Whereas to hunt with a gun, I have to go to the next county north. And being a kid, not driving, it was just easier for me to, get to my, archery only hunting spot.
So I was talking to my buddy the other day, and I was like, "Damn, I need to kill something early so I can, butcher it up, freeze it, and then send it home with me to Florida.
Hmm.
So it's frozen, with, of course, dry ice and all that shit. Because I've got a cooler in the truck waiting for me in Florida.
Yeah.
So it's a scramble to get it home to Florida. Dry ice is the only thing that's going to keep it solid. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah. Yeah.
So I've never done that, but
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it because I plan on killing some shit.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they there's a there was a guy, his name Jim Piles from
Hmm.
Missouri. You know Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got JP Enterprises. Well, he and I, we got to be friends. We met up at Squaw Pan Mountain in 2010,
Hmm.
and he was up there. He drove all the way up from Missouri, but
Wow.
he had I believe it was an electric cooler, and that he was able to keep it, and because I think he had a 36-hour drive, and
Wow.
the Brad Harriman, another bow hunter, and Brad does a lot. Brad does a lot of black powder,
Okay.
and he killed a bear. So they brought, and I think they got home pretty, you know,
Oof.
it just in that electric cooler.
Yeah, I got an electric cooler, but the best I could put is a 6 pack in it.
Uh,
So, yeah,
yeah,
it's useless. But whatever, I will make things happen.
yeah,
Uh,
sure.
so, New York State, since you live there, I heard you cannot take a whole deer gutted across state lines. Is that true?
Yeah, it's got to be processed. I believe both in or out. And again, if you take it out, you're not really dealing with New York. You'd be dealing with Connecticut, Pennsylvania, or New
Maryland,
Jersey.
whatever. Yeah,
But
right.
yeah, but like, and again, I'll give you an example. A guy that I work with, they have a lease in Maryland, in Eastern Maryland, and he brought a. He didn't even think about it. He brought a really good buck back to New York, brought it, had somebody else process it with a Maryland tag on it.
Oh
And the
shit.
game wardens, they keep checking. They saw it and they were knocking on his door the next day.
Hmm.
I don't believe they confiscated anything. I can't, don't quote me on that, but
Yeah,
they,
just paid a
I,
fine.
I believe yeah, he did have to pay a fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't care. Money's no object.
Yeah.
Not that I'm rich, but I don't give a shit. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm eating that deer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah. Yeah.
I haven't killed a deer since 2020,
Wow. Yeah.
and yeah, I'm about due. So
Mhm.
it's all good. So,
Yeah.
snow or no snow for hunting?
I really like, it's funny because I love hunting in the snow. Um, I love because it's like all of a sudden deer appear. You can see them a lot easier. I remember hunting a couple of times in a, I had a good blanket of snow going. It was, and I'm overlooking this swamp and because anybody that's been deer hunting any amount of time, they know how a deer can just disappear just by taking 2 steps,
Hmm.
and you can have them go by and not even see them. And man, with the just against that snow, I mean they just stick out. And even just seeing, not necessarily because you're bow hunting, you when I'm close, but then there's also, again, it's easier to track, easier to pick up the blood. And what they do, and I do think that um, I don't know if I'd say as much as they act a little differently in the snow, but it's just as far as all that, for sight and tracking and things like that. Oh yeah, it's get me out there.
My best memories of killing deer have been in snow. My mom passed away in 2007, 6 or 7. And I was in a funk. So my wife goes, go sit in your tree. It was bow season. I went, climbed up my tree, sat there, and it was just normal November day. There was no snow on the ground. All of a sudden, it started snowing. I mean, a lot of snow,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
2 inches within 20 minutes. And out walks his 10 pointer, standing broadside in front of me. It was a gimme shot.
mm,
I shot it, killed it, and that was my mother.
yeah,
That's the way I look at it.
yeah, yeah. That's great. Yeah, I
Mhm.
love, and I don't know. There's just something about the snow in the woods. It's
Mhm.
just, I don't know. It's kind of peaceful. You know.
It is. It is. I mean, obviously, I don't have that here.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
but I'm looking forward to heading up north. My buddy's telling me the weather's perfect. The full foliage is perfect. The colors are popping.
yeah,
Um, I just can't wait. I'm just excited. I'm
yeah.
already packed it. I don't leave for 5 days.
You're hitting it a good time. And again, I think so. What, 5 days? So yeah, because they're from reports from my buddies that are out. They're seeing movement.
Yeah.
There's been some good ones, taken that I know of. In New York. My part of New York. I don't know about Western New York or anything else that way, but I'm sure because, and again, once you're out west of Syracuse, the Finger Lakes, you're into more agriculture. You're into more of
Yeah.
like the Midwest. It's flat. It's more
Yeah.
cornfield, bean field, more agriculture rather than dairy farms that are, say, like in the Catskills and around here, mountains.
Yeah. I'm in Central, and he's telling me my buddy's nephew who owns the property. is sending reports back that the bucks are really into the beans. They're out
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and I'm right on the edge. It's fantastic. They're moving. Everything's cooking, and because I tried the first week of November. That was okay, but they were kind of like on lockdown. Then I tried Halloween week, and they were okay.
Yeah.
Things were moving. But I think what's going this week that I'm going, which is the week before Halloween, there's going to be more buck activity, which there is sightings.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I hope it works out.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. I want keep me posted. You
I
know.
will. I will be. Well, guys, I'm going to be posting video, all
Yeah.
sorts of shit on Facebook. As you know, I'm a junkie when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so last question, bow broadheads. What are you doing nowadays with broadheads?
Yeah, it's because I have different setups, so I use different, different. I mean, my main go-to broadhead is a Woodsman. I had the original Wenzel Woodsmans,
Right.
um, and then they're easy to sharpen. They fly great. I've killed probably, more with the Woodsmans than I have any other broadhead. But I'll also use Wikis. You know, Eclipse. I use Eclipse and Bear Razor heads. I'll use.
Mhm.
But again, for my main setup, my Black Widows, I think they're all set up with Woodsmans. For turkeys, I use Woodsmans for sure. Bears, I use Woods. I like a 3 blade head for a bear. It's funny because I've
Oh,
shot a couple of bears with two. Now, again, this is not a scientific experiment. I know plenty of guys that killed bears with two blade broadheads, but I think I shot three three bears with a 2 blade, and I didn't get either one of them.
okay.
So that's why I just continue to use threes. For that, I use threes for turkey. Um, and again, Woodsman's they're just easy to sharpen.
Oh yeah.
My hunting buddy, he's also a guy I work with, another guy that grew up in my town. Uh, Another PBS member, Tony Zarello. He's been shooting them, and he's killed a lot of stuff with the Woodsmans too. And he's that's the only thing he'll use. That's all he uses. And me,
Yeah.
like I said, I just different setups.
Yeah. I tried bear razor heads. I actually used bear razor heads for like 20 years, and then I switched to Zwickies, and oh my god, just a game changer for me
Mm.
personally. I had Woodsmans. I love them. They're great. But I went back to Zwickies. It just they kill everything I shoot at.
Yeah,
And that's that. So
two blade or 4 blade.
it's a two blade. It's a Delta.
Yeah,
Yeah. So um, it is what it is. I mean, it just works for me. Just
yeah.
works for me. To each
I
his
have a
own.
half
To each
dozen.
his own.
I have a couple arrows set up with the Zwicky Deltas, the big Delta. But I haven't killed anything with them yet.
So Stickbo Supplies. The boys over there.
Yep.
Travis and his wife. I went to Mexico last year and I said, let me get some Zwickies. They must have sent me 2 dozen of the some bitches. I
Yeah.
was like, I will never use them all at this point. I've got arrows with them mounted on it,
Yeah.
but no more, guys. It's like 65 years old. I doubt that I will use them all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's funny as hell.
It's funny because that was kind of reminds me at the PBS in Reno, somebody had 4 packs of 4 blade deltas in the silent auction, and that's what Monty shoots. Monty Browning.
Yeah.
So I was on council, and I was running the silent auction. So Brian Burkhart, Preston Lay they came up to me and they were like, listen, just because when you do the silent, you can either put your name or you get a number with your package.
Right.
So Brian was just using his number, so he just kept outbidding Monty, and so every time he'd go back, he'd see a number on there. So Monty would sign up, put another go higher, and then Brian would, and then finally, they told I pulled it. Time was up. I pulled it, and it was Brian had won it. And Monty was all like, "Oh man, I lost these because he goes, these would have lasted me the rest of my life." And then next, Brian comes and hands it to him. He goes, "Here you go." And again, it's
That's
just something with the PBS.
that's how they are.
Yep,
That's
yeah,
how
for
we
sure.
are. That's how we are.
Yeah,
Uh, I'm looking at stuff that this guy's bidding on my stuff, and I'm like, something, I'm just gonna give it to him
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's a brotherhood,
yeah.
is what we are members of, is a brotherhood.
Well,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, even like this guy, there's a PBS member from New York, Chris DeWitt.
I
He
know.
lives up. Chris.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's great, great, great guy. I call him kid. But he sends me a Sika gear vest because it fit me. He said it doesn't fit him anymore. They didn't want any money for it. So I was like, oh, but it just John Seminow. I don't know if you know John Seminow. He sends me Gene Wenzel when he was doing the auctions for Donna. He was he had a which one was one of his, oh god, it was one of the books he had.
Okay.
I think it was Come November. I can't quite remember but I got outbid, and then next thing you know, I got and I know John didn't. John got it for a lot more than $30, and he sent it to me in the mail. It's like things like that. It's just so I
That's
try to
it.
pay it forward, as well, when I can.
That's what we do. I mean,
Yeah,
that is what we do. And
yeah,
this podcast is about that. We
yeah,
paying it forward.
yep.
So, Sean, at this point, I'm gonna jump off now.
All right.
But I want to thank you so much for coming on and giving us a second shot, especially visually, because we did it last time. It was just on
Yeah.
Spotify.
Well, that's I
But
always say. I got a face built for radio. Ask Don Davis; he'll tell you.
oh, Don Davis. Oh
Yeah.
man,
I
partner
I
in
I, I told Don. I go, hey, Don, there must not be any mirrors in your house. He goes, yeah. He goes, well, I can't reach any. I can't. They're too high. You know.
Yeah, he is a little short, but
Yeah.
it's all good. But hey, for your stepson, I wish him the best. Prayers out
Thank you.
to
Thank
his
you.
recovery and to your wife and to the family. Uh, hey guys, love each other, take care of each other. Mental health is a big issue, which is I'm a maniac about that. As if you notice in the prior podcasts, just if you see something, say something,
Mhm.
or just make people aware, and like and subscribe. That helps me a lot. If you want new content, please subscribe. I appreciate it. Sean, have a great night, brother.
All right, Rich. Have a good night.
All right, love
Thank
you,
you.
man. Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye.